Kenny here with Gardening Simplified. It's October 20th. I'm out here in the garden and I'm harvesting my Roselle Hibiscus. When you start harvesting the hibiscus, you're going to say wait about 10 days after it blooms. Now it's kind of hard to keep track of when you have a big old mess of hibiscus. It's hard to keep track, but what you want to do is you want to harvest the pods like these, the ones that's bigger, and they start to open up, they'll swell up. When they're smaller, and we can get kind of a comparison side by side, you have these that are getting bigger, swelling up like this one, compared to these. Whenever they bloom, they'll be small like that, and they'll get a little bit bigger like this one, which is kind of hard to, you can see the size difference. But once they get up about this size, about an inch and a quarter, these will be what you'll harvest. Now you can pop them off. It's kind of hard. Some of them will break off easy. It depends on how long since they've been bloomed. But what you're going to end up having to do is take your snips and clip them off. And what we're going to do is we're going to harvest a bunch of these. What we're going to use is this outside area here of that. So we'll show that in here in just a minute. Okay, I've harvested up a few of these. Now, when the only part you're going to want is this calyx right here. You want these calyx off the side, and the easiest way to harvest these off is just do a little split on that side, and then these will pop loose like this. Of course, they're going to turn your hands purple, so if you don't want dyed hands, then we're just going to set those aside. Now, this pod here, a lot of people say whenever you're saving seeds to let these dry on the plant. It's not going to make a difference. Once this flower's pollinated and this particular part of the plant matures, this is going to be a viable seed. Take these if you want to save seeds from them. It won't take a lot because there's a lot of seeds in here, but just let this dry. Now we're going to open up one of these just so you can see the seeds that's inside here. We'll cut this apart. And it is tough, but once it dries, it's a lot easier. But you can see how many seeds are inside of this pod. But just let these pods dry on their own. And these seeds will turn black just like anybody that's ever bought them, the way they'll be. And you can save them and plant them. But like I say, you don't have to wait until these dry on the plant. In fact, if you get a lot of them that dry on the plant, it better be where you want it to be for next year, because you're going to end up with a lot of those seeds sprouting. But anyway, now we'll talk about making tea. When you're going to make tea out of the calyxes, now there's a lot of different recipes for it. Basically what you're going to do is you're going to take, and a lot of recipes they'll say use 2 cups of calyxes. Now calyxes, depending on their state, there's going to be a different amount for 2 cups. If you just get them fresh off the bush and separate them, measure them up, you're going to have one thing. Now if you take them off and you let them set for a day or two and then separate them out, it's going to take more of them to make 2 cups. So basically I'm gonna tell you, if you're gonna make a drink or a tea out of it, the way that I do it is I'll just get however many I want, and I'll get me enough water for them to cover them good, or a little bit extra. You bring it to a boil, then once it comes to a boil, simmer it for 20 minutes, and then you'll strain off the calyxes, and the juice is what you're going to use. Now in a lot of recipes they'll tell you brown sugar or honey, salt, you know, different things. You'll have to kind of fix the recipe to what you like. As far as in your preferred sweetener, if you're going to go organic, you'll probably want to use honey for healthier. Now there are organic sugars, so you could go that way. But once you have that mixture, you'll use, say, a tablespoon or 2 tablespoons per glass, depending on the size of your glass. What you're going to have to do is just kind of mix it up a little bit to ensemble it and get it to your taste, basically. But what I've done here is I've separated each one of these into individuals, and I've spread them out, but I've measured them out, so I have 4 cups on each of these. I actually have 6 on this one, and I have 8 cups on this one. So once I'm going to freeze dry these, which freeze drying is ideal for long-term preservation. They hold up good. Now you could dehydrate them to keep them for a good amount of time, but like I say, if you want long-term preservation, say you have a whole lot and you want to harvest them, maybe you don't want to grow the Roselle Hibiscus for a few years if you don't have room, you know, you might want to just harvest up a bunch and then preserve them for long term. But anyway, I've got the freeze dryer is actually, it's down, it's already did its 15-minute cool down. In fact, it's been running for almost 35 minutes. And now what I'm going to do is I'm going to load these trays in here. The reason why I did these amounts like I have is so once I freeze dry them and I crush them up some, I'll know how much is there. So if I'm going to, say, use 2 cups, I'll know what 2 cups are, or if I'm going to use 4 cups. But what I do is, like I say, I make it up, and then I'll just pour the liquid into a quart jar and put it in the refrigerator, and that way whenever I want to mix me up a drink of it, all I gotta do is put a little bit in my water and I'm ready to go. So let me get this done. Yeah, I was talking about these seed pods. Now these have dried a little bit, and what we're going to do is we're going to pull this open, and as you can see, these seeds have dried in there. It's just a matter of breaking these open and saving seeds. And we got quite a few seeds from just a few of them. These were all the ones that I had harvested off this last batch. But anyway, I hope that helps you as far as saving seeds for these. That'll give you a little bit extra.